Let's all go in the Grand Prix world, for just 7 days after Detroit, here we are at the superb Gilles Villeneuve circuit on the Ile Notre Dame in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The championship halfway point sees both the drivers and the constructors' contests wide open. Alain Prost, striving to be the first ever French world champion, leads Nelson Piquet by just 1 point, with his fellow Frenchman Patrick Tambay in third place. And the reigning champion, Keke Rosberg, is still right up there, showing that talent, experience and the virtues of his Williams car can almost compensate for not having a turbo engine. But John Watson 5th and Niki Lauda 6th seem virtually out of contention. Renault, the turbo pioneers in their 7th year of Formula One, lead the Constructors' Championship, with the 1980 and 81 champions, Williams, a very close second, thanks to an effective blend of speed, agility and reliability. 1 point ahead of Ferrari, with Brabham 4th and McLaren 5th. Montreal favours power. Just look at the starting grid, where turbocharged cars from 5 different teams fill the top places. In pole position, for the 17th time in his career, Ferrari's René Arnoux. Then the Renault of Alain Prost. 3rd, Piquet's Brabham. 4th, Tambay's Ferrari. 5th, Patrese' Brabham. 6th, Chiva's Renault. 7th, the ATS of Manfred Winkelhock. And 8th, De Cesaris's Alfa Romeo. Rosberg's the top non-turbo man again at 9th, with Warwick 12th, Mansell 18th, and the newly honoured John Watson MBE a lowly 20th. A turbo whitewash then? Well, 70 laps is a long, grueling way. Tyres are going to be a crucial factor, and so is fuel consumption. So we'll have to wait and see. So on the left in pole position Arnoux, on the right his rival Prost in the Renault. Behind Arnoux is Nelson Piquet in the Brabham BMW. Then Patrick Tambay on the right behind Prost. Riccardo Patrese is 5th fastest in the Brabham, followed by Eddie Chiva in the 2nd yellow Renault on the right, 6th fastest. Then on the left, 4 rows back, is Winkelhock.
He's finally taking it down. Some idiot marshal was holding a board up to say his cars weren't in position.
And away they go, and it's Arnoux leading away from Prost, with Piquet and Patrese in 3rd and 4th positions. In 5th position it is Patrick Tambay, all cleanly away, and as they sprint down to the far end of the circuit alongside the Olympic rowing strip, it is René Arnoux in the lead as he was in Detroit. But will the Ferrari last? He's got a clear track ahead of him. He's already pulling out several lengths over the 2nd place man as they stream through and into the sweeping right-hander there. And we look back along the circuit as the leaders go through, and there is Michele Alboreto, who won in Detroit, John Watson and Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda 19th on the grid. And we see Alboreto again. This is the first of 70 laps. It's a long, grueling race of 192 miles, and it's Arnoux leading. In 2nd position, it looks like Riccardo Patrese in 2nd position, not Piquet. It is. It's Prost in 3rd position and Piquet 4th.
Yes, Patrese looks to be giving it plenty of aggression on the opening lap. He was having a look, but René Arnoux made a good start, got inside Patrick Tambay at the 2nd corner, and is going very well. Tambay watched for, he was very quick in the wall. He's last of that little leading group there in 5th position, but he was very, very quick in the warm-up this morning.
And Keke Rosberg doing his usual, streaking through, but just failing to take Winkelhock as Arnoux completes the 1st lap, with Patrese right behind him in 2nd position. 3rd is Alain Prost. In 4th position, it's Nelson Piquet. 5th is the Ferrari of Patrick Tambay. 6th is Eddie Chiva. And in 7th, it is Andrea De Cesaris in the Alfa Romeo. And René Arnoux on lap 2 leads the Canadian Grand Prix. Start delayed by 45 minutes. Tyres are going to be critical. So is refueling. And into the pits comes one of the Ligiers. It is that of Raoul, or is it Jarier? Already they're changing tyres. That's incredible on the 2nd lap. So it's still Ferrari, Brabham, Renault, then the Brabham of Piquet. There's the second, third, fourth men, and definitely René Arnoux, who is only in 9th position in the World Championship. He's had a very, very thin season so far and has been overshadowed by his teammate Patrick Tambay against expectations, and out comes Nelson Piquet to try and take, and has he succeeded? Yes. Nelson Piquet on lap 4 out of 70 moves up into 3rd position behind his teammate Riccardo Patrese by passing the World Championship leader Alain Prost.
Yes, I think that was a little bit of a mistake out of the previous corner by Alain Prost. Didn't get away clean. He maybe missed a gear on the straight that gave Piquet the chance to get alongside.
Lap 10 out of 70, and there is the gap between René Arnoux and the second place man Riccardo Patrese as Arnoux comes down to the hairpin, and let's see what that gap is. Patrese goes through, and it's now something like 3.5 seconds as Elio De Angelis crosses the line, having stopped in the pits to take new tyres on. And Arnoux is away on his own, as he was in Detroit, but you will remember that in Detroit last Sunday, the Ferrari broke down. Rosberg, sorry, but he sprints away.
Oh, I think he must have stalled the engine or something like that, or just missed a gear and failed to get a gear, and so poor old Keke Rosberg, that little mistake has cost him a couple of places. He's back in the group, and here we are. Now we see him trying to get inside to Cesaris. And there it is. Well, we missed that live. We can't see that from our commentary position, and well, let's hope that no damage has been done to Rosberg's car. A bump like that can easily damage the front suspension. It obviously threw him a bit and knocked the car out of gear or whatever, but he finally got going. But it'll take us a lap or two, or him a lap or two, to see if there's any minor damage and if the handling of the car is still okay. Well, it's as I was saying, Rosberg finally lost patience, and that is a shame. That is a little bit of immature driving, although every sympathy must go to him, because he was really stuck. He lost 2 places as a result, plus the fact he failed to get past.
And through goes Tambay. Tambay has passed Alain Prost and gone up into 4th position ahead of the Renault.
Tambay just making his overtaking manoeuvre. He's come out of the previous S-bend quicker than Prost and the Renault, and he's got by, and he'll be very pleased with that.
Lap 13, and the significant thing about what we're seeing here is that the man who's leading the World Championship, Alain Prost, is now being crowded by his teammate Eddie Cheever, who obviously wants by and up into 5th place, but Alain Prost, who is enormously ambitious, and rightly so, and who incidentally has felt so harried in his home country of France that he's left and gone to live in Switzerland to get some peace, and is now down in 5th position with Patrick Tambay pulling away. So Prost there in 5th position, Eddie Cheever in 6th place as they come through to complete lap 13, and through goes Eddie Cheever up into 5th place, and that confirms that definitely Alain Prost is in trouble, and I wonder how long it's going to be before up behind him comes Andrea de Cesaris. There is now quite a gap. Patrick Tambay, and hello, here is Keke Rosberg now right back with and in front of Jacques Lafitte, so that would seem to indicate that the Williams was not affected by the contact that it had with de Cesaris' Alpha. So there's Winkelhock, de Cesaris, Rosberg and Lafitte all together.
Yes, Winkelhock has got past both of them in that melee, it would appear, and poor old Rosberg, having done all that, he's now stuck behind de Cesaris again, just the same person as before, and I have to tell you, it's a very frustrating experience.
There's Patrese into the pits. Patrese, no, it's Piquet, Nelson Piquet, but Rosberg is through. He has got past de Cesaris, and now Lafitte is attacking the Italian, and Rosberg is closing up on Manfred Winkelhock, the German, having fought his way past the hardest man on the circuit to pass, and Keke Rosberg is on his way, while his teammate Jacques Lafitte on lap 17 tackles the Alfa Romeo, and the order is lap 17, René Arnoux leads. In 2nd position, Patrese. In 3rd position now is Tambay. In 4th position is Prost. In 5th position is Cheever. In 6th position is Keke Rosberg. 7th there is de Cesaris. 8th behind him is Lafitte. and I forgot Winkelhock, my apologies, who is ahead of Rosberg. Into the pits comes Danny Sullivan in one of the two Benetton Tyrrells, and it was his teammate Michele Alboreto who won the Detroit Grand Prix. And now Rosberg, as I say that, has moved ahead of Winkelhock, so Keke Rosberg is in the points in 6th position. Winkelhock in the yellow ATS is 7th, Lafitte in the white Williams is 8th. There is the 9th place man, Andre de Cesaris. To the pits comes the ATS of Winkelhock, and that means to say that there's going to be changes. Off come his Goodyear tyres. Winkelhock, who is number 9, was in 7th position, and that means to say now that De Cesaris will be moving up a place as out of the pits sprints the ATS, 13 seconds, Manfred Winkelhock. Well, tyre and fuel stops of the Brabhams and Ferraris could still change things, but there in the background, Eddie Cheever in 4th position. 5th position is still Prost. 6th position and in the points, Keke Rosberg. 7th and just out of them, but just behind Rosberg is his teammate Jacques Lafitte. And it looks as though, as I said, the famed Williams reliability is going to have a significant effect at the end of this race, and that Rosberg could still be in contention for the World Championship.
Fascinating struggle up front, which is only going to be livened up in the next 10 or 15 laps as the all-leading group come in to make their scheduled pit stops for tyres and fuel. And it would appear certainly that, well, we know that Arnoux sorely and badly needs a fresh set of tyres. He's got a blistered left rear, and it looks by his sudden minor decline in performance on the track as if Patrick Tambay is in a similar sort of trouble, and so therefore he'll be in quite a big hurry. There is René Arnoux. Look at the left rear tyre. He didn't get a good enough, close enough shot there, but he still stayed out for another lap. And now he's pointing as he went past the pits there. Did you see him just gesticulate, which not a very clear indication of what he wanted to do, but I'm sure his pit note, that means that he needs to come in soon.
And Cheever is ahead of Patrick Tambay. Eddie Cheever has moved up into 3rd position by catching and passing the Ferrari of Patrick Tambay, who must presumably be in trouble. Has he got the same problem as his teammate René Arnoux, who is leading? Something to do with the tyres going on?
Well, the way he's falling back now, Murray, I'd say it almost looks as if it's a mechanical problem, maybe gears or something, or the engine losing power, because he's falling back too fast and too suddenly for it to be a tyre problem. And one of the notices in the pits,
Nigel Mansell again, and Derek Warwick has now got a problem keeping back or moving over at the right time, as out of the pits with about a 12-second pit stop goes Nigel Mansell, and out of the race, incidentally, has gone Nicky Lauda, Elio De Angelis, Mark Sura, Nelson Piquet, and dropping back now in 4th position in the background is Patrick Tambay, and there, number 16, is in 3rd place, Cheever, and he was in 3rd place in the Canadian Grand Prix last year here in the Ligier when he had to retire. Lafitte into the pits, and Lafitte is in 7th place. 13 seconds is the target. This looks like an excellent pit stop, and indeed it is. 13.56 seconds for Jacques Lafitte. Will it have changed his position? Well, here could be a change fairly soon, because now you can see what Eddie Cheever is doing, and there is René Arnoux, definitely in the pits, having his tyre change on lap 34. He sprints out, and we'll soon tell you whether Arnoux has lost more than one place.
well, we didn't get a clock on that, and we didn't see him come in ourselves, but it looked like a very fast stop to me, because they still had the fuel filler in when all the mechanics had finished with the tyres, and when you get a clean tyre change, the fuel actually takes slightly longer and is the governing factor.
Lap 35, Patrese leads. In second place, it is Cheever. In third position, it is Tambay. In fourth position, it is Arnoux, and Arnoux is there behind his teammate. Arnoux has been into the pits, has got fresh rubber. Tambay still has to do so. So Arnoux lost 3 places, but soon will gain one of them.
Still pretty cold, René Arnoux tyres. You can see the car sliding about, snaking a bit under braking there as he fights to warm up his tyres. It'll take him another lap or half of that. They should be getting just about up to working temperature by now. But yes, and there is one of the rails. That must be Chiva in the pits making his scheduled stop. 7-8 seconds gone so far.
So
that looks like a fantastic stop for him. No, they were slow getting away, getting the fuel pipe, or the fuel in and the pipe out.
And there is Riccardo Patrese then leading the Canadian Grand Prix, with Chiva having gone into the pits, with Arnoux having gone into the pits, with Tambay waiting to go into the pits. And as I talk to you on lap 36, it is Patrese leading. In second position now it is Tambay. In third position it is Arnoux. In fourth position it is Chiva. And in fifth position it is Prost, followed by Keke Rosberg, still in sixth place, with Lafitte in seventh. And into the pits comes Keke Rosberg in the Williams. Now this is going to be absolutely critical. On goes the fuel hose. The wheels are already off the ground. They are off their uprights and hubs. The pneumatic hammers are ready and banging away. All the four hammers have stopped. The stopwatch stops at 14.04, a whisker slower than some of the others, but still very much in the running. And that means to say that I suspect Keke Rosberg has dropped down to 8th position.
I get the impression that René Arnoux is not... And here's Patrese.
Race leader Patrese into the pits. Now, this is equally critical. Brabham were the people who reinvented pit stops, and they have usually been the best in the business. Already, the pneumatic hammers stop, and that's a brilliant one. That's the fastest of all, 11.08. So Patrick Tambay is leading the Canadian Grand Prix, but it surely must be a temporary lead. We know because of his repeated signals he wants to come in. Arnoux is behind him. Into the pits has come Patrese. There's now a settling down period, while those that have been into the pits, and into the pits now comes the new race leader, but not for long, Patrick Tambay. Let's see, the fastest pit stop that we have so far is that, and there's the big eyes of Patrick Tambay, looking huge underneath his helmet, as he's got to beat 11 seconds.
They seem to be slow getting that fuel filler on, but actually the fuel's gone in pretty quickly.
There is into the left-hander and sliding it, Manfred Winkelhock, sliding out of contention. Has he kept the engine running? Yes, he has. See the slick tyres, and there is Patrick Tambay really motoring now.
You see there that Winkelhock actually had it in gear and was getting the wheels going in a forward direction before he completely stopped going backwards. So he didn't control things too well to get into that spin, but he certainly handled it well once he'd committed the original error.
Another interesting thing is that the turbo cars, which used to violently object to a pit stop because the turbos would overheat things around them while they were static and there was no airflow and water to cool through the radiators, now seem to have overcome that problem. Here is Arnoux, lap 44, leading. And into the pits comes Andrea De Cesaris in the Euro Alpha twin turbos. This is superb Grand Prix racing, and behind these three in the red and white Marlboro McLaren is John Watson, who has been lapped but is nevertheless in 7th place and only just out of the points. In 8th position it's Thierry Boutsen, in 9th position it's Michele Alboreto, but the battle for second position that we're looking at now between Patrese, Chiva and Tambay is rightly commanding the attention of this enormous crowd at the Ile Notre Dame Gilles Villeneuve circuit. And René Arnoux leads, and Chiva is through now, up into second position. He's got the line, he's got it on the left-hander, and Tambay is right with Patrese.
And Patrese he got away with it, because Patrese fought too long and hard to stay in that corner. As a result, he didn't get the line that he wanted. He was very slow out, and it was lucky for him it was a very short straight afterwards, because he lost momentum, and if it had been any sort of decent length straight, Tambay would have been past him as well, and that reluctance to give up when beaten, and Tambay is getting alongside, and Tambay is through. So Patrese has lost 2 places in the space of about 3 corners and has gone from 2nd to 4th, and it looks as if he's going to be left. So his job, and even John Watson is now up having a look inside him.
Lap 57 out of 70. There's the leader, René Arnoux. Second is Eddie Cheever. Third is Patrick Tambay. Fourth now is Keke Rosberg. Down to fifth has gone for Tracy. And in sixth position is Alain Prost. And there is Rosberg.
Yes, and in fact it's a hopeless case. It's something like 40 seconds or so that Rosberg is behind Patrick Tambay, 45 seconds. So he is really out of range, and he's very much on his own. So his race is over, apart from completion of the afternoon's work. No one in his immediate vicinity to have a race or any fun with, either in front or behind. And it's spread out a little bit now.
No doubt about the fact that Ferrari will be leading the Constructors' Championship, the all-important two Constructors' Championship, because Arnoux is on his way to 9 points. Patrick Tambay is on his way for third place for 4 points. That makes 13 points in all, and at the present moment Ferrari are 5 points behind, and there is Patrese into the pits, was in 5th position, now out of contention, definitely, and that means to say that up back into 5th place goes the enigmatic Prost again, and up into 6th position will come John Watson, who's been plugging away and has been lapped, but is back again in the points as he was by finishing in a superb third place at Detroit last weekend. As we look at Eddie Cheever in second place on lap 59 out of 70, it's Arnoux leading, Cheever second, Tambay third, Rosberg fourth, Prost fifth, and John Watson in the points in sixth position. There's Cheever. Well, Eddie Cheever, who is actually American but has spent most of his life in Italy, and whose brother, younger brother, Ross Cheever, is actually racing in a Formula Ford event at Silverstone today, and they are both spurred on by their father, who runs a chain of health food shops in Rome. There is Arnoux, that is the race leader, and it would be, I have to say, with pleasure, only fair if René Arnoux won this race, because he has stamped his authority on it by finishing fastest in the first time practice, by finishing fastest in the second time practice and faster than he was in the first, by leading right the way through the race except for the short period when he went into his pits and went down to 4th position and then got back into the lead. And it will be a wonderful moment for the little Frenchman who has tried to go to live in San Marino for probably much the same sort of reason as Alain Prost has moved into Switzerland, but failed and is now living in Italy. And it'll be a wonderful moment for him in terms of consolidating his hold over the Italian public, for whom a Ferrari driver can do no wrong, but they will like even better if he's won a race in Ferrari. But there is Keke Rosberg, 4th place. Rosberg, who finished second in Brazil but was disqualified for a technicality which has nothing to do with his tactics or driving, failed to finish at Long Beach, won a magnificent non-championship victory at Brands Hatch in the Race of Champions, 5th in France, 4th in San Marino, then that superb victory at Monaco, followed by 5th and 2nd places at Belgium and Detroit, as a result of which he is in 4th place in the World Championship. Keke Rosberg coming up to complete lap 62 out of 70. And that was the battle. We just saw, there is the battle between John Watson, the car on the right, and Thierry Boutsen. There's the Marlboro McLaren, number 7 of John Watson, who has already this year won at Long Beach and is 5th in the World Championship, and he's been caught by Thierry Boutsen, who's only in his 3rd Grand Prix. Boutsen, who did extremely well in the European Formula 2 Championship last year, driving the Spirit Honda, lost his place in the Spirit Honda team, has taken part in World Championship sports car racing, won superbly at Monza in the Porsche 956, and now he's taken to Formula 1 and World Championship racing like a duck to water, and he's on the tail of John Watson and challenging for 6th.
Yes, and Watson sliding about a bit there, and really very much on the limit. He, of course, has got a big experience advantage, but I suspect that His tyres might be getting a little bit tired. He doesn't seem to have the grip that he ought to have, just at a glance, but it'll be an interesting challenge for him to try and hold on to that place against a relatively... There you see him moving across a little bit in front of Boutsen, just heading towards the inside line when he saw Boutsen wasn't making a lunge down there, and quite rightly, to keep that side covered. You can't overtake really around the outside.
Watch John Watson's head. Watch him looking in the mirrors to see where Boutsen is. And Boutsen makes contact and has knocked off one of his aerofoils, and that will affect the handling of the car.
Yes, probably, and there was a clear case of Boutsen's inexperience. That is not really a passing point unless Watson had made a mistake out of the previous corner, which he patiently didn't. And he got himself, here you are. Now he leaves his braking so late that he can't stop enough to get in behind Watson cleanly, and he just knocked the front wing off, which shouldn't have damaged Watson's tyre, just bumped it on the tyre, shouldn't have done any other damage to the car.
Now the last lap, René Arnoux is on his victorious way, leading Eddie Cheever. In third position, Arnoux' teammate Patrick Tambay. Holding a superb fourth place is Keke Rosberg. Still in fifth position, the second Renault of Alain Prost. And in sixth position, the Marlboro McLaren of John Watson. So it's almost over as far as Arnoux is concerned. He's getting the waves from the crowd. He won't see them, of course, at least I would doubt that he would. But it's now a matter of a few hundred yards for the little Frenchman to achieve his first victory for Ferrari. An enormous relief for Arnoux, a source of tremendous acclamation from the Italian nation and, of course, from Ferrari. There you can hear the shouts and the whistles in the background from the French-Canadian crowd, willing on the Frenchman to win in the Ferrari that their late hero Gilles Villeneuve won. The only thing they'll be sorry about is that it is not the number 27. And there you see the checkered flag, there you see the Ferrari mechanics, and there you see René Arnoux crossing the line to win the 1983 Canadian Grand Prix, to achieve his ambition of winning for Ferrari. And there is Eddie Cheever coming home in only his second place in his Grand Prix career. His first second place for Renault, the team that he joined this year. He has beaten the World Championship leader, Alain Prost, down to the hairpin he goes, so it's a victory Ferrari. It's second place for another turbocharged car, the Renault of Eddie Cheever, who crosses the line behind Manfred Winkelhock, who is of course a lap behind. There is Patrick Tambay, not so far behind Cheever, making it a first and third for Ferrari. So a superbly deserved victory, his first for René Arnoux in the Ferrari. 9 points. Then 6 points to Eddie Cheever for his second place, 4 to Patrick Tambay for third, 3 to Keke Rosberg for a magnificent fourth position. In fifth place, Alain Prost gets 2 points, and in sixth position, John Watson, up in the points again, gets 1. And that means to say that the Drivers' Championship is still led by Alain Prost, but now Piquet and Tambay are tying for second, just 3 points behind the leader. Keke Rosberg is still there with 25 points in fourth position, ahead of the new fifth place man René Arnoux, who leads John Watson with 16 points. And in the Constructors' Championship, it's even closer, because now Renault and Ferrari tie for the lead with 44. Ahead of the third place team, Williams with 35, fourth Brabham with 27, and in fifth position, McLaren with 26 points. And now there's a long gap before the next Grand Prix, but for many it's the most important of the year. It's the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on July the 16th. Join us to see that.